Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a piece of gear that is seriously shaking up live music performance, the Arturia AstroLab 37. If you've ever played electronic music live, you already know the exact friction points we're going to talk about today. We're unpacking how this specific hardware aims to completely revolutionize how producers and keyboardists bring their perfectly crafted studio sounds straight to the stage, and doing it without sacrificing even an ounce of quality. Right off the bat, here's the ultimate question, and honestly, the classic dilemma every gigging musician has wrestled with. On one hand, you've got the absolute boundless flexibility of your studio software, right? You can layer tons of complex synths. But on the other hand, you desperately need the bulletproof reliability of a physical stage instrument. So how on earth do you bridge that gap without bringing a fragile laptop into a dark, crowded club where, let's be real, someone is definitely going to trip on a cord or spill a drink on your hard drive? Well, the solution is moving entirely away from the stress of that traditional setup. Just imagine walking on stage and knowing you won't have any latency issues, zero dreaded mid-song software crashes, and absolutely no messy web of cables tying you to a laptop stand. Instead, we're stepping into the era of the ultimate standalone DSP container. With the AstroLab setup, all that heavy processing power lives entirely inside the keyboard itself. Your laptop stays safe at home, but every single one of your massive studio sounds comes right along with you. Okay, let's move into section 1, a visionary design journey. Let's look at how Arturia actually got here. The story actually kicks off a few years back during a winter brainstorming weekend in Geneva, featuring renowned designer Axel Hartmann and Arturia founder Frederick Brun. Hartmann had this incredibly ambitious vision. He wanted to create what he called the first modern workstation that offers the complex sound universe of Arturia software instruments as a standalone container. They essentially wanted to build an instrument that was super friendly and intuitive, didn't draw on the user in menus, but still packed the immense, uncompromised power of Arturia's entire software suite. And the physical design choices they landed on gave the AstroLab this really inviting, recognizable aesthetic. It doesn't look like some intimidating plastic-encased computer. It's got these warm wooden side elements that bring a classic, organic vibe to it. Plus, the user interface leans slightly toward you, which is perfect for visibility under harsh stage lights. But honestly, the standout feature is that central circular display. Hartmann actually designed the Endless controller to feel like a high-end automotive dial. It just feels premium and incredibly solid when you're tweaking it mid-set. Now, this massive technological leap wasn't just an overnight thing. It was actually years in the making. Back in the early 2000s and into 2010, Arturia was already experimenting with their Origin synthesizer, trying to put software emulations into a standalone box. But the tech and user interface finally caught up to that dream in April 2024 when they launched the 61 and 88 key versions of the AstroLab, and those paved the exact path for the highly anticipated, super portable 37 key model we're focusing on today, slated for November 2025. Which brings us to section 2, fusing hardware and software. This is where things get really cool. So getting your sounds onto the board is ridiculously easy. You can take those crazy multi-layered patches you spent hours perfecting in your DAW and just push them straight into the physical hardware. You literally just connect the keyboard via USB or Wi-Fi, click Link to AstroLab inside the Analog Lab Pro software on your computer, and drag your custom sounds right over into the hardware playlist. Boom, that's it. Your studio sounds are untethered, locked in, and completely ready for a gig. So, what's actually under the hood here? Well, you aren't just getting a handful of basic piano samples. You're getting a whopping 11 different synthesis engines running natively on the device's own DSP. We're talking virtual analog, wavetable, granular, physical modeling, even a vocoder. It's basically a living museum of synthesis history combined with cutting-edge sound design, all processing locally in real time without ever taxing a computer's CPU. And when you pair the AstroLab with Arturia's Analog Lab Pro software, you unlock a mind-blowing library of over 10,000 sounds. Think about the flexibility there. You can curate and tweak everything at home on your nice studio monitors, and then load exactly the patches you need for your tour right onto the keyboard's internal memory. Section 3, the compact AstroLab 37. Let's zoom in on this specific footprint. When you stack these models side by side, something really wild stands out. Just look at the CPU specs. The AstroLab 37 has the exact same 6-core ARM processor as the much larger $2,000 61-key model, except this one weighs under 2 kilos, just 4.3 pounds, and it's priced at $799. You aren't losing out on the brain or processing power at all. It's really the ultimate travel companion, perfect for tiny club stages, a cramped studio desk, or honestly just throwing it in a backpack as a ridiculously powerful secondary synth. But how do you control all that power live without a mouse? Instead of squinting at a tiny screen and menu diving while the crowd waits, you get 4 brilliant macro knobs: brightness, timbre, time, and movement. The genius part is that the sound designers have already pre-mapped the absolute most crucial parameters of every patch to these specific knobs. It basically guarantees you stay right in the expressive sweet spot during your performance, letting you make massive, sweeping sonic changes without getting lost in the weeds. All right, Section 4, Sounds and Performance Features. Because, let's be real, all this tech means nothing if it doesn't sound amazing. Right out of the box, completely, totally independent of your computer, the AstroLab 37 comes fully loaded with over 1,800 expertly crafted presets. And these are pulled directly from 44 different V-collection instruments. Arturia didn't just dump a folder of raw files onto a drive here. They brought in some trailblazing sound designers to curate and handcraft these presets specifically so they feel great to play live. Industry veteran Jerry Kowarski was one of those designers, and he mentioned that sitting in front of this instrument actually feels like touching and playing the entire history of synthesizers from his lifetime. He stressed that the accuracy of the sound emulations and how playable each internal keyboard is just wonderful. These aren't just close approximations, they're painstakingly precise recreations of iconic hardware. Another legend, Katsunori Ujie, aimed for pure versatility with his patches. He noted that you're definitely going to find a sound you've heard on a record somewhere before, and he confidently recommends his presets as sounds that will instantly fit your music. Whether you need a bright, classic 80s LA studio electric piano or this thick, rich analog pad that evolves over time, these presets are just incredibly musical and sit perfectly in a live mix. And the AstroLab isn't just a playback machine either, it's a creative partner. To get ideas flowing instantly, you've got 3 built-in performance modes. There's an arpeggiator to turn simple chords into driving rhythms, a chord mode that triggers lush harmonies with just one finger, and a scale mode that locks the keyboard into a specific key so you literally can't hit a wrong note while soloing. It's amazing for generating fresh ideas on the fly. Now for gigging, workflow is absolutely everything. The dedicated playlist button is a total lifesaver. It lets you instantly switch between 10 of your live sounds without hunting through menus mid-song. And the connectivity is incredibly modern. It has a mono audio input for processing external signals or vocoding, Bluetooth audio streaming so you can easily jam along with backing tracks from your phone, and a dedicated mobile app to manage your patches over Wi-Fi. It's incredibly well thought out. Finally, Section 5, Transforming Your Live Setup. So all of this leaves us with a pretty compelling final thought. We've seen how this lightweight 4-pound instrument houses 11 complex synthesis engines, thousands of studio-grade presets, and smart macro controls, all running flawlessly on its own internal brain. It really forces us to completely rethink how we build our live rigs. Knowing you can now literally carry 50 years of synthesis history tucked right under your arm, is the era of the fragile, unreliable stage laptop finally a thing of the past? Think about how this level of standalone power could streamline your own setup. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.